Chosen one, take a breath and really listen for a moment. That pressure you have been feeling, the one you could not quite explain, the one that made everything feel heavier than it should, you can release it now because something has already shifted. Not later, not eventually, right now. The season that stretched you, confused you, and kept you awake at night has reached its end. The questions, the tension, the feeling of just trying to get through each day instead of truly living it, it stops here. And this is not random. It is not luck. It is connected to something you did, even if you did not realize it at the time. You are not here by accident. You were guided here for a reason, at this exact moment, because something in your life has quietly come full circle. You are standing at the edge of a chapter that is closing, even if it still feels unfinished. In the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through what really happened this week, the moment everything began to turn, and how to step fully into what is already opening. Stay with me. Do not scroll away. There is something here your future self needs you to hear before you move forward. I know the last few days have felt different. Not just slow, not just quiet, but heavy in a way that is hard to explain. Maybe you found yourself awake late at night, staring into the dark, replaying the same thoughts again and again, wondering why things feel stuck, questioning if you missed something, asking yourself if change is ever going to come. Or maybe it hit you during the day, a deep kind of tired that rest does not fix, the kind that settles in your body after carrying too much for too long. It felt like you were caught between where you have been and where you thought you would be by now. And in that space, a quiet doubt started to grow. If you listen closely, you can hear it. A voice telling you that maybe things slowed down because of something you did. Maybe it was that moment when you chose to step back instead of pushing forward. Maybe when you stayed quiet instead of speaking up. Maybe when you let go of something you thought you had to hold on to. That voice has been pointing at that moment, trying to convince you that was the mistake, that you somehow delayed everything meant for you. But here is the truth you need to hold on to. You did not fall back. You did not reset your progress. You are not starting over. You are finishing. Think about that moment this week when you chose not to react, when you paused instead of responding, when you walked away even though part of you wanted to stay and prove a point. You may have seen that as weakness. You may have felt like you lost something in that moment. But what if that choice was actually the turning point? What if that restraint was the exact moment things began to close in your favor? That decision, as small as it seemed, was powerful. It created space. It ended a pattern. It broke a cycle that did not need to follow you any further. The weight you feel right now is not something new starting. It is something old ending. That is why it feels intense. Endings carry pressure because they release everything at once. You are not at the beginning of another struggle. You are at the end of one. Most people do not recognize this moment when it comes. They feel the shift, but they misunderstand it. They think the discomfort means something new is about to go wrong, when in reality, it means something old is finally letting go. It is like standing at the end of a long journey but still expecting more road ahead because that is all you have known for so long. So when the path actually stops, it feels unfamiliar. But this is not confusion. This is completion. What has been holding you back does not have the same access anymore. The patterns that used to pull you in, the situations that drained your energy, the thoughts that kept you second-guessing yourself, they are losing their grip. Not because you fought harder, but because something inside you changed. And here is where it becomes important to understand what this season was really about. You thought you were dealing with situations, with people, with circumstances that needed to change. You focused on what you could see, but the deeper work was happening within you. This season was shaping how you see yourself, how you respond, what you believe you deserve, and how you carry your energy into every situation. The real shift was internal, because once that changes, everything around you begins to follow. The struggle was never just about what was happening outside of you. It was about what was being built within you. Your identity, your confidence, your ability to stand in your own space without needing to prove anything to anyone. That is what was being formed, and that is why it felt so intense. Because internal change is the hardest kind, but it is also the most lasting. Let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about it. What if the breakthrough you have been waiting for is not something that shows up later, but something you are already stepping into right now? What if the shift is not coming, but already here, just waiting for you to recognize it? There is a difference between waiting and receiving. Waiting keeps your focus on what is missing. Receiving shifts your attention to what is already present and unfolding. Think about your own life for a moment. Have you been preparing yourself for what you asked for, or just hoping it arrives? Because growth creates capacity, and capacity determines how much you can actually hold when things begin to change. If you have been stretching yourself, becoming more aware, making different choices, even small ones, then you have been building that capacity. Nothing has been wasted. Every moment has been part of the preparation. And here is something that might feel a little uncomfortable, but it is important. That moment when you chose silence, when you walked away, when you did not react, it felt difficult because a part of you still wanted to be understood, to be seen, to be proven right. That is human. There is nothing wrong with that feeling. But if your peace depends on being validated by others, then your peace will always be delayed. Real freedom comes when you no longer need that moment of recognition to move forward. When you can let go without needing the other person to acknowledge what happened. When you can choose your own growth over the need to prove a point. That is strength. And that is what you stepped into. Growth often looks like letting go of the version of yourself that needed certain outcomes to feel okay. It is not about pretending nothing happened. It is about no longer allowing it to control your direction. And now you are standing at a deeper level of that realization. Because the final step is not about what others think or do. It is about how you see yourself. Deep down, there may still be a question about whether you are truly ready for what you have been asking for, whether you are worthy of it, whether it is really meant for you. That quiet hesitation, that small doubt, that is the last thing to move through. And it does not come from failure. It comes from old experiences that have not fully healed yet. You do not overcome that by fighting it. You move through it by choosing a different belief, by allowing yourself to accept that you do not need to earn what is already aligned with you. So instead of trying harder, instead of pushing more, try something different tonight. Allow yourself to receive. Let yourself accept that things can shift without struggle, that you can move forward without needing everything to make perfect sense first. You do not need permission to step into what is already opening for you. You just need to trust that you are ready. Place your hand on your chest for a moment and feel your heartbeat. That steady rhythm is proof that you have made it through everything that tried to stop you. You are still here, you are still moving forward, and that matters more than you realize. Now say this quietly to yourself and mean it. I release what I have been carrying. I let go of the idea that I ruined anything. I no longer need to prove my worth to anyone. I trust that I am exactly where I need to be. I am not behind. I am not forgotten. I am moving into something new with clarity and strength. The past does not control what comes next. I am ready to receive what is already on its way to me. Let that settle in. You do not have to force anything anymore. Just step forward. If this connected with you, do not keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need this reminder right now. And if something shifted for you while listening, take a second and write it down in the comments. Stay close, because this is only the beginning of what is opening for you.